Tonight's top stories. The Philippine National Police, or PNP, insists it is merely doing its job in connection with the issue of a bus carrying members of a religious group en route to a rally on EDSA. The Senate conducts a hearing on the now notoriously infamous Tacloban school shooting. And tennis phenomenon Alex Ayala carves yet another historic win, this time around in the first round of no less than the Wimbledon Championships. Quite a feat indeed. All of these and more on PTV News Tonight. Good evening. Welcome to PTV News Tonight. Yesterday's Blitzkrieg mass rally by the INC at the EDSA People Revolution Monument in Quezon City may have been generally peaceful, but 7 policemen ended up with injuries sustained from rowdy and roughhousing protesters. Our Ryan Lisigas has more on police authorities mulling potential charges against the INC, even as it held up a busload of protesters from Cavite yesterday seeking to join the illegal rally.
Video shows members of a religious group from Cavite on their way to Manila yesterday to join a protest rally at the EDSA People Power Monument. The bus had been chartered by members of the religious group, but before they could enter Manila, their bus was allegedly stopped by police personnel along Cavitex. The group claimed the Philippine National Police did this to prevent them from reaching the protest venue. The PNP, however, denied the allegation. According to Acting PNP Chief Public Information Office Police Colonel Alan Ray Co, conducting checkpoints is a normal part of police operations. He stressed that the checkpoint was not intended to block members of the religious group.
This is not specifically to prevent anybody from coming to Metro Manila, pero yung atin po is to safety. Always, ang safety po ng public ang ating tinitignan. So we are filtering, normal naman po itong ginagawa.
Co also confirmed that the group was granted a permit to hold today's protest. The permit is valid from 8 a.m. until 8 p.m. Authorities are also allowing the group to gather up to 100,000 participants for the demonstration.
Late in the afternoon ay nag-apply po sila and it was granted early in the evening po ng Quezon City Government for today's activity or gathering.
Despite this, the PNP said it is still studying the possibility of filing charges against the organizers of yesterday's protest as they allegedly did not have a permit for the rally held the previous day. During the operation, 7 police officers were injured while performing their duties. Co also confirmed that the 3 individuals arrested during yesterday's protest have already been released.
They were released for further investigation with no prejudice po for filing of cases against them later on if the evidence so warrants. Yung isa po, yung driver na naintindihan ng yung mismong naipit nating kapulisan ay naintindihan niyang gumagawa lamang ng trabaho, pinatawad na po siya.
An estimated 15,000 people participated in last night protest. Meanwhile, the Quezon City Local Government's Department of Order and Safety said the religious group's original request was to hold the protest until Friday. However, the QCLGU has approved only a 1-day permit for now. Motorists, though, should not celebrate just yet. As authorities said, the permit may still be extended if today's activity remains peaceful, orderly, and well-organized. Ryan Lisigas for the Nation.
President Ferdinand R. Marcos Jr. is off for a special state visit to rekindle and reinforce our friendly bonds with Canada, where a multitude of immigrant and migrant working compatriots have long settled and made a life. This trip is care of an invite extended by Canadian Premier Joseph Mark Carney, whom the President will engage with on an array of issues, which our Clazel Padilla updates.
President Ferdinand R. Marcos Jr. refuted claims that the administration is implementing selective justice. The chief executive made the remarks before departing for Canada for a 4-day official visit amid a protest staged by a religious group.
Well, they have their opinion. I believe they're wrong.
Today, the president expressed confidence that the ongoing rally protests of the Iglesia ni Cristo would remain peaceful. He said the government's only concern was that someone might try to disrupt the gathering.
Ako malakas ang loob ko kasi sa buong kasaysayan, ang iglesia, pag nag-rally, kahit napakarami, hindi sila nanggugulo. And that for me was the main concern that somebody might get hurt. Ang problema lang namin is that merong impormasyon na siyempre merong mga mag-infiltrate, mag-agitate. Yun ang inaalala namin. Ayaw, yung pinaka-importante sa amin, walang masaktan. Either tiga-iglesia or kung sino man na mapunta ron na manggulo. So let's just keep everything stable and peaceful. And so far it has been.
President Marcos Jr. departed for Canada at around 8 p.m. tonight. The visit marks the first official visit of a Philippine president to Canada in more than a decade. The trip aims to further strengthen the Philippines' long-standing relations with Canada while expanding trade, investment, and economic cooperation between the two countries. He will hold a one-on-one meeting with Canadian Prime Minister Mark Carney, who extended the invitation. Several cooperation frameworks and agreements are expected to be signed, particularly in the areas of energy, natural resources, trade and investment, labor and immigration, tourism, and culture. The president is also scheduled to meet with Canadian business leaders to further boost the economic partnership between the two countries. He will engage with economic players in the fields of mining, information technology, and business process management, telecommunications, nuclear energy, and financial services. In 2024, total bilateral trade between the Philippines and Canada reached $3.2 billion Canadian dollars. He will also minister about the importance of maintaining peace, cooperation in the Indo-Pacific, ASEAN unity, and multilateral cooperation amid issues in the West Philippine Sea. The president said the Philippines and Canada have shared 77 years of diplomatic relations and expressed confidence that the partnership grow even stronger through this visit. And that's the latest for tonight. Jay?
Thank you very much. Clazel Pardilla reporting. The mass gathering by the INC along EDSA yesterday that snagged and snarled traffic to a standstill for hours was, for all intents and purposes, illegal, given the absence of a permit from LGU or law enforcement to greenlight the event. Even more, the protesters rudely parked their buses and automobiles to completely block traffic flow at the northbound lane, but still received slack and consideration from the MMDA, who relented in towing the vehicles away to avert fisticuffs or serious physical clashes. Today's resumption by the INC protesters of this picket for Marcoleta is the last one permitted by law enforcement, as our JM Thompson reports.
The MMDA attempted several times to tow illegally parked vehicles near the EDSA People Power Monument following yesterday's sudden rally. However, they were unable to do so reportedly due to the resistance of the rallyists, and the agency chose to avoid any conflict. But MMDA Chairman Attorney Don Artes assured that they issued tickets to those they caught.
Minabuti po namin na mag-stand down. Pero hindi po ibig sabihin nito na wala kaming ginawa. In fact, nag-issue po kami ng mga citation tickets for illegal parking. Doon po sa lahat ng sasakyan na nakaambalang sa karsada through NCAP.
Chairman Artes also reminded rallyists who brought vehicles to park them in designated areas.
Doon po sa mga attend, I understand mayroon pa pong pagtitipon mamaya. So, notice po ito sa mga may dalang sasakyan. Doon lamang po tayo sa designated na parking, particularly doon sa may Temple Drive, sa may likod. Yun po, inaalaw po yun sa likod. Pero definitely not sa EDSA. Pag kayo po ay nag-park sa EDSA, titikitan po namin yan.
The MMDA once again reminded the public to dispose of their rally trash in proper bin to maintain the cleanliness of the area.
Alam naman natin, pag yan ay naiiwan sa karsada tapos umulan na malakas, ang tendency po na dadala yan sa ating mga drainage system.
Meanwhile, it was confirmed yesterday that the group had no prior coordination with authorities for the rally they conducted. However, they were later granted a permit for today's protest after coordinating with the Quezon City government. According to Quezon City Administrator Mike Alimurong, the group requested 4 days for their extended protest, but due to the traffic considerations and the daily commute of workers and students, they were only granted 1 day today.
Quezon City is really an area, itong area na to, na freedom of speech is respected. So as long as naman nag-apply yung mga tao and sumunod naman sa usapan, pwede naman talagang bigyan.
The MMDA has further expanded and adjusted the barriers along the bus carousel in front of the EDSA People Power Monument. Even the buses blocking the road yesterday have been moved to the side to provide a wider lane for motorists. Authorities continue to monitor not only the orderliness of the ongoing rally, but also the condition of the motorists affected by the protest. J.M. Thompson for The Nation.
In the meantime, the fatal mass shooting inside a Tacloban City High School campus may have been greatly influenced by an extraneous factor, a criminal organization of mostly radicalized juveniles based in the Lone Star State. Just one of the discoveries in the kickoff of the probe on the Tacloban City High School shooting shared by Senator Risa Hontiveros. Our Bernard Ferrer fills us in with more details.
During the hearing of the Senate Committee on Women, Children, Family Relations, and Gender Equality, Senator Risa Hontiveros said there are indicators that the school shooting in Tacloban City, which involved 2 minors, was influenced by the group known as 764. The group was allegedly founded by a 15-year-old boy from Texas, USA.
Ang modus ng grupong ito, maghanap ng mga vulnerable minors online at hikayatin na gumawa ng kahindik-hindik na bagay. Sabi mismo ng FBI, the leaders of the group are pushing victims to create graphic pornography, to harm family pets, to cut themselves with sharp objects, or to even die by suicide.
According to Hontiveros, 764 has already been designated as a terrorist group in Canada, while the U.S. Federal Bureau of Investigation and the U.S. Department of Justice have described it as a national security threat. The senator also emphasized that she is not calling for a ban on online gaming. Instead, she said the goal is to combat organized groups that use fake online identities to groom children and coerce them into self-harm, cyber-sex extortion, and other violent acts.
Wala akong sinasabi na ang naglalaro ng games ay gagawa ng karahasan in real life. Fake news po iyon. Maraming kabataan ang naglalaro para magpahinga, makipagkaibigan, matuto at maglibang. Malinaw po sa akin, hindi games o gaming community ang kalaban.
Hontiveros also disclosed that alleged infiltration of global nihilistic violent extremists or NVE networks into popular online gaming platforms. Meanwhile, the mother of Joyan Sisepara, one of the shooting victims, called for those responsible for the incident to be held accountable. She also urged lawmakers to lower the age of criminal liability.
Pwede naman siyang makulong doon sa ibang pasilidad na pwede sa kanilang edad para din nila maramdaman yung sakit, yung parusa na karapat-dapat sa kanila.
The police officer aunt of the minor suspect known as Nash said her nephew allegedly illegally entered her house to take her firearm.
He forcibly damaged my locker. It was locked. And my house was locked as well po, ma'am.
Meanwhile, Senator Christopher Lawrence Bongo called for stronger mental health programs and enhanced school safety measures.
Mental health issue is real talaga. Hindi lang ito usapin ng seguridad. Kailangan din nating tingnan ang kalagayan ng ating mga kabataan, kung may problema sa bahay, sa paaralan, sa komunidad. Mas mabuti ang maagapan kaagad ito.
Senator Rafi Tulfo highlighted the lack of Bahay Pag-asa facilities and called for a review of intervention program for children in conflict with the law or CICL. According to Tulfo, only 28 of the 117 operational Bahay Pag-asa facilities are accredited by the Department of Social Welfare and Development or DSWD.
20 years after the enactment of Juvenile Justice and Welfare Act, our rehabilitation system remains incomplete. Only 33 of our 82 provinces have Bahay Pag-asa. Among our 33 highly urbanized cities, 5 still do not have one, including Tacloban.
He added that while more than 10,000 CICL cases were recorded in 2023, the ESWD data show that an average of only 2,833 children were admitted to these facilities each year from 2021 to 2025. Bernard Ferrer for The Nation.
The House prosecution asserted that the impeachment case against Vice President Sara Duterte is not politically motivated, emphasizing its readiness to present evidence when the trial begins on July 6. Sheila Natividad tells us more in this report.
Kung makikita naman ng mga tao na malakas talagang ebidensya, then yan ho ang magiging ultimate proof na hindi ito politically motivated.
That was the assertion of House Prosecution Legal Spokesperson and Private Prosecutor Attorney Benjamin J. Tolosa Jr. after the motive behind the impeachment case against Vice President Sara Duterte was once again called into question. This comes after Senator Rodante Marcoleta, who has an impending plunder case in connection with alleged undeclared campaign contributions during the last elections, claimed the complaint against him is meant to prevent his participation in the impeachment trial. House Impeachment Advisor Robert A. Barbers, however, denied any connection between the two matters.
Hindi naman siya konektado dito sa usapin ng nalalapit na paglilitis. I don't think it has value kapag nakasuhan ang isang membro ng Senado na labas doon sa usapin ng impeachment.
Tolosa added that the prosecution panel had expected such arguments, particularly efforts by the defense team to challenge the impeachment process through procedural and technical issues, which he said was clear from the start.
We're anticipating just what they've, similar to what they've done from the start, is they will try to raise procedural matters and technicalities to try to prevent us from presenting evidence. We're ready to counter any arguments that may be raised.
As one of the private prosecutors assisting the House prosecution panel, Tolosa also emphasized that beyond their growing number, close coordination among the prosecution team is crucial in presenting evidence more efficiently. This is due to the volume of evidence and the number of witnesses expected to be presented by both sides.
Ang mahalaga ho dito, suriin ho natin pare-pareho. Yung ebidensya na malalatag, hindi lang ho namin, to be fair, pati nung kabilang panig, para makita natin kung talaga bang may matibay na basehan itong mga charges na ito.
While the prosecution panel said it cannot yet discuss the merits of the impeachment case, it awaits the Senate Impeachment Court's action on several pending manifestations. According to the prosecution panel's legal spokesperson, the use of English and Filipino language during the trial has already been approved by the impeachment court. As such, the panel awaits the court's ruling on its other pending manifestations, particularly the possible presentation of the Green Bureau of Internal Revenue or BIR box containing the Vice President's tax records and other financial documents that may be relevant to the impeachment trial. As for the required number of votes for a possible conviction, Tolosa said the decision rests with the senator judges. He added that the prosecution panel continues to uphold the constitutional requirement of a 2/3 vote or 16 senator judges for a conviction. The impeachment trial of Vice President Sara Duterte will be live-streamed beginning July 6, allowing the public to directly see the evidence presented by both the prosecution and the defense. Sheila Natividad for The Nation.
Ombudsman Jesus Crispin Remulla has dismissed allegations of selective justice in the plunder case filed against Senator Rodante Marcoleta, asserting that the Office of the Ombudsman is simply fulfilling its mandate by pursuing charges related to the failure of the lawmaker to declare a 75 million peso donation in his SALN and SOSE. Rod Lagusad has more details.
It's not selective justice. there's no selective justice in this country when it comes to the ombudsman.
This was the point emphasized by Ombudsman Jesus Crispin Remulla following the filing of a plunder case against Senator Rodante Marcoleta. The case is related to the alleged 75 million peso donation he received. After the announcement of the filing of the case against the senator, Iglesia ni Cristo held a protest rally along EDSA. According to Remulla, this was part of their freedom of expression. Despite this,
Nothing has changed. We will file. We will file. So this week, basta sa akin lang, we will do our job. We will do our job. Gagawin namin ang trabaho namin.
in his speech during the kick-off ceremony of the Office of the Ombudsman's Field Investigation Course, Remulla said that there was no truth to claims that Marcoleta was being targeted.
Our friends from the INC are the ones who instigated it. Due to a feeling that they have that Rodante Marcoleta was being singled out among others. And we all know that that is not true.
According to Remulla, he did not order the investigation against Marcoleta.
So I said we will find the case. When the evidence is a few, bring it to court. Alam namin na gusto ng taas man patamaan sa atin pag mali ang ginawa.
Remulla stressed that this is part of the Office of the Ombudsman's mandate. Assistant Ombudsman Miko Clavano earlier said that Marcoleta himself confirmed receiving the donation during an interview. He said Marcoleta failed to declare the alleged donation in his Statement of Assets, Liabilities, and Net Worth or SALN, as well as in his Statement of Contributions and Expenditures or SOSE. He added that it would be difficult for Marcoleta to deny the allegation because the evidence came from his own statements. According to Clavano, the resolution of the filing of the case against the senator is now on its final stages. Rod Lagusad for The Nation.
Remain faithful to your constitutional duty. This is one of the highlights of President Ferdinand R. Marcos Jr.'s speech as he rallied the military ranks, urging them to uphold the highest standards of integrity as the country marks the 79th year of the Philippine Air Force. This while balancing the weight of naming a new AFP Chief of Staff, which our Patrick De Jesus takes on in this report.
The decision now rests with President Ferdinand R. Marcos Jr. on who will be appointed as the next Chief of Staff of the Armed Forces of the Philippines. After being appointed in July 2023, General Romeo Browner Jr. is set to retire this month, becoming the first AFP Chief of Staff to complete the 3-year fixed term since the enactment of Republic Act No. 11939. Teodoro, however, declined to say whether he had recommended any names to the president, but said the next AFP chief should continue Browner's legacy in the armed forces.
Itong proseso na to ay between the president and the SND. Privileged ito, no? Kaya hindi ko pwede discuss. Mahirap yung standard na ipinakita ni General Browner, napakataas, whether sa local at sa international at saka sa overall management ng joint supports ng AFP. At katulong ko sa reforms na kinakailangan gawin.
After canceling his scheduled activities yesterday to monitor the protest of a religious group along EDSA, President Marcos attended the celebration of the 79th anniversary of the Philippine Air Force at Villamor Air Base in Pasay City. As the Commander-in-Chief, the President encouraged the military to uphold its integrity, discipline, and professionalism.
Above all, remain faithful to your constitutional duty to protect our people and defend the democratic institutions that safeguard our freedoms.
The President also assured the Philippine Air Force of the administration's continued support while recognizing its significant contributions to humanitarian assistance and disaster response operations, as well as in protecting the country's territory.
Be assured that the administration is committed to providing the Philippine Air Force with the resources, the opportunities, and the support necessary to carry out your mission with honor and with excellence.
The Philippine Air Force said it draws inspiration from the various challenges it faces to further improve the quality of its service.
Rather than allow these difficulties to define us, we choose to learn from them and move forward together. We cannot afford to be stymied by adversity. For the centrality of air power in safeguarding national security, contributing to nation building, and meeting the expectations of the Filipino people has never been more significant.
Over the past year, the Philippine Air Force logged more than 49,000 flying hours for internal and external missions, including pilot training, unit training, and maintenance. Patrick De Jesus for The Nation.
The palace has pushed back against recent statements made by President Ferdinand R. Marcos Jr.'s sister-turned-critic, Senator Amy Marcos. This regarding the administration's support for the agricultural sector. In a press briefing, Presidential Communications Office Undersecretary Claire Castro criticized the senator for allegedly using fake news to attack the government. Castro refuted claims that the administration is indifferent to the plight of farmers and fisherfolk, citing recent government initiatives such as the livelihood grants distributed to 186 Pangasinan fisherfolk last June 30, 2026, and the president's ongoing efforts to strengthen support for the sector earlier this year. The palace stated it has no plans to file a case against Senator Amy, but noted they will leave it to the National Bureau of Investigation or NBI to look into the spread of alleged misinformation.
Ang paninira sa Pangulo at sa gobyernong ito. Nakakaawa ang mga obstructionist na tulad ng isang senadora. Nagre-rely, gumagamit ng fake news para makapanira lamang at para kalat ang mga ganitong klaseng maling impormasyon.
This year marks a defining period for the country in its diplomatic bonds with our neighbors worldwide. 70 years of partnership with Japan, 75 years with the Dutch, over 50 with China, and 80 years of a special alliance with America. Today, the foreign minister / deputy premier of the European Union's capital nation came calling on the president for a 3-day visit to renew friendly and diplomatic ties since the last encounter 30 years ago. Our Gab Humilde has more on today's visit by the Belgian leader.
Belgian Deputy Prime Minister and Foreign Minister Maxime Prévost arrived in the country on Tuesday for a 3-day visit. It has been more than 30 years since a Belgian foreign minister last visited the Philippines. This year also marks the 80th anniversary of the establishment of diplomatic relations between the Philippines and Belgium. The two officials discussed the progress of partnerships under the two countries' joint plan of action. Belgium also wants to expand cooperation in trade and investment, creative industries, science and technology, maritime, labor mobility, information and communications technology, and people-to-people exchange. They also discussed high-agenda issues in their bilateral meeting, including the ASEAN chairship and events in the Middle East and Europe. In their joint press conference, Prévost declared how their country wants to engage further with its like-minded partners in Asia, including the Philippines, and further strengthen relationship between the two countries.
The message of my visits is therefore straightforward. Belgium is present, Belgium is engaged, and Belgium wishes to do more. More trade, more investment, more maritime cooperation, more exchanges between our people, more collaboration in security, and more partnership within the wider Asian and Indo-Pacific context.
Brussels also wants to conclude the negotiations for the free trade agreement between the Philippines and the European Union as soon as possible, which is expected to be signed in the coming months. Prévost said the FTA is crucially important for their country because 85% of their gross domestic product comes from exports.
And we are currently facing troubled times, and more than ever, being in capacity to count on reliable partners, offering predictability, security, and stability. That's the big assets we need, not only for the investors, but also for the decision makers. And it is really important to reinforce the ties between the Philippines and the EU.
Foreign Affairs Secretary Maria Teresa Lazaro thanked Prevost for his support in realizing the FTA between the Philippines and the EU, as well as Belgium's application to accede to the ASEAN Treaty of Amity and Cooperation.
We hope to have it hopefully in the next few months. It was originally, I think, targeted to the middle of the year, but I'm sure FTAs are not easy to negotiate. But we have our negotiators and likewise the EU negotiators. Again, this FTA, as has been mentioned, not only will provide market access, but will also provide facilitation of trade from the many rules of origin and all the other aspects. And I think this is what is very important in our situation now. And again, I thank you. I thank Belgium for the support that you're giving us to have a conclusion, a successful conclusion of the FTA.
Last year, Belgium ranked 30th among the Philippines' largest trading partners, with trade between the two countries reaching $480.14 million. It is also estimated that around 18,000 Filipinos are currently working and living in Belgium. Gab Humilde Villegas for The Nation.
The Philippine Atmospheric, Geophysical and Astronomical Services Administration, or PAGASA, has reported that the water level at Angat Dam has dropped to a critical 160 meters. In response, the Angat Technical Working Group is monitoring the reservoir's remaining supply for the coming months. To address the shortage and provide alternative water sources for Metro Manila and nearby provinces, new treatment plants have been established in Laguna Lake, Marikina, and Cavite. PAGASA noted that the effects of El Nino are expected to persist until next year, emphasizing the urgent need for water conservation. Engineer Patrick Dizon of the MWSS Corporate Office is appealing to the public, local officials, and business establishments to adopt a coordinated effort in conserving water. Customers are also urged to practice wise and responsible water usage even after the onset of the rainy season. The Philippines has 251 public-private partnership PPP projects worth 3.10 trillion in the pipeline, with most to be, or rather, inflation is expected to ease to around 6% in June as lower food and fuel prices help moderate price pressures. The Bangko Sentral ng Pilipinas said cheap rice, meat, and oil may offset rising electricity and vegetable prices. Despite the projected slowdown from 6.8% in May, inflation is still expected to remain above the government's target range. The BSP said it will continue to monitor domestic and global developments that could affect inflation and economic growth. To aid farmers and fisher folk get higher value for their yield and strengthen links in the distribution or supply chain, the Agriculture and Local Government Departments agreed to incentivize farmer fisher folk owners of storage facilities by way of a zero real property tax on the land of which they sit. Our Vincent Elijah Canlas hashes over the details.
The Department of Agriculture and the Department of the Interior and Local Government signed a joint memorandum circular for the implementation of tax exemption on agricultural storage facilities. Agriculture Secretary Francisco Chu Laurel Jr. and Interior and Local Government Secretary Juanito Victor John Vic Remulla led the issuance of the new guidelines. The directive aims to lower operational costs to encourage more investments in post-harvest facilities in the country. This project implements Section 12B of the Sagip-Saka Act, which grants real property tax exemptions to qualified structures and warehouses nationwide. Under the guidelines, structures will be free from real property tax as long as their assessed value does not exceed 3 million pesos. Secretary Chu Laurel Jr. explained the importance of the new framework in implementing this crucial incentive of the law.
This measure also strengthens the agricultural value chains that reduces post-harvest losses, improves market readiness, and supports a more resilient food system. In short, it helps ensure that more of what our farmers and fisherfolk produce actually reaches the consumer and does not end up as avoidable losses.
Facilities are mandated to register in the system and must report and undergo an audit every 2 weeks to track stored inputs. The government will completely monitor the number of warehouses through the joint effort of the department and the local government units or LGU.
The DA now has a registry system for agricultural storage, which it's called acronym it's called RSAS, no? So lahat ng mga storages niyan kailangan i-register sa aming system. Then mayroon reportorial requirements yan, no? Wherein they have to basically input online.
The government targets to build warehouses, cold storage facilities, and seaweed dryers without the burden of taxes. These infrastructures will help reduce post-harvest losses and increase the income of farmers and fisherfolk. In line with this, the department also mentioned that its requested budget for the next year is around 220 billion pesos. The department aims to push more programs to ensure cheap and affordable food in the markets. Elijah Canlas for The Nation.
For many Filipinos, getting to work during the rainy season means taking a risk every step of the way. As the saying goes, when it rains, it pours. And for those forced to wade through flood waters, the threat of leptospirosis can be as dangerous as the flood itself. We hear the full report from our Carlo Luis Candelaria.
Studio Lightman Daniel regularly passes through flooded streets on his way to work. He said he often has no choice but to wade through flood waters that may be contaminated with rat urine, even when he has wounds on his feet. Daniel has previously suffered from leptospirosis, so he fears contracting the disease again, especially with the high cost of treatment.
Medyo mahirap kasi hindi naman kami, normal na tao lang naman kami. Pero yung gastusin, yung bayad ng bills, mabigat din. Sa airpat nun, syempre, problema rin, tsaka sa airmat. Kung anong ibabayad dun.
With the rainy season now underway and flooding becoming more frequent, the Department of Health or DOH is urging the public to avoid wading through flood waters. If unavoidable, the public is advised to wear boots and wash thoroughly after exposure. Common symptoms of leptospirosis include high fever, severe headache, chills, muscle pain, and redness of the eyes. Good news because starting July 15, PhilHealth will offer an expanded benefit package for patients diagnosed with leptospirosis. Under the enhanced package, qualified beneficiaries may receive up to 63,000 pesos for hospital care, 170,000 pesos for hemodialysis, and 230,000 pesos for peritoneal dialysis. According to Malacanang, the total benefit for patients requiring critical treatment may reach as much as 411,000 pesos.
Simula July 15, mas pinalawak na ang coverage ng Philippine Health Insurance Corporation para sa moderate hanggang severe na kaso ng leptospirosis. Alinsunod ito sa hangarin ni Pangulong Ferdinand R. Marcos Jr. na mas marami ang makakuha ng kinakailangang gamutan nang hindi nalulubog sa napakalaking gastusin.
PhilHealth is also offering free consultations under its Yaman ng Kalusugan or PhilHealth Yakap program, where Filipinos may receive prescriptions for medications against leptospirosis, including doxycycline. Daniel welcomed the news of PhilHealth's expanded benefit package for leptospirosis patients. He said the additional assistance would be a great help to people like him who are frequently exposed to the risk of contracting the disease.
Maraming salamat sa PhilHealth kung ganyan kasi yung mga Pilipino na may hirap na tulad ko, na hindi kayang bumili ng gamot, nang magbayad ng pinalsyal na sa bills, makakagaan din yan.
Carlo Luis Candelaria for The Nation.
Coming up, tennis sensation Alex Ayala makes history yet again. Is there anything she can't do? We'll let you know what that is all about. After a very quick break. Go, Alex.
Stay up to date on His Excellency President Ferdinand Marcos Jr.'s actions and initiatives this week as he leads the country in nation building. PBBM at Work. Muling kinilala ang inyong PTV sa World Class Excellence Japan Awards 2026. Rise and Shine Pilipinas bilang Outstanding Morning Show of the Year. At ang inyong People's Television bilang Outstanding TV Network of the Year for 2026.
Television is a collaborative effort, and as one of the news anchors of PTV4, I represent the whole team whose commitment makes our work all possible. And we thank the organizers, our network leadership, our viewers and colleagues for your continued support and trust.
Maraming salamat po at asahan ninyo ang aming patuloy na pagbibigay impormasyon at inspirasyon para sa bayan. For our next food crawl.
Wait lang, hangin mo ko. Kasi nga, favorite na hangin.
Tara na sa another Chibugan. Kasama ang certified foodie na si Joshua Garcia.
Alam mo, legit pag kami pangalan yung ulam.
Ngayong linggo, 10:30 ng umaga.
Ano gusto ko na yung wito? Tsaka yung kaldero.
Dito lang sa PTV.
The House Prosecution Panel will work with social media volunteers to help combat false and misleading information during the impeachment trial of Vice President Sara Duterte. According to House Impeachment Advisor Robert Ace Barbers, volunteers will base their content on the official statements of the House trial spokespersons. The volunteers are also expected to take part when the impeachment trial begins on July 6 by sharing verified and fact-checked information. Barber said the initiative aims to ensure consistent and accurate public communication through digital and social media platforms. The Interagency Council Against Trafficking formally launched the 2026 National Anti-Trafficking in Persons Awareness Month at the Department of Justice. DOJ Assistant Secretary Michelle Lapuz said human trafficking remains a complex crime driven by organized groups that exploit the vulnerable victims using modern technology across borders. Lapuz also highlighted the Philippines' 10th consecutive Tier 1 ranking in the U.S. Trafficking in Persons report, crediting the government's whole of government and whole of society approach. She stressed that organized crime can only be defeated through organized systems of justice and continued collective action. The Philippine National Police Anti-Kidnapping Group has declared the conclusion of the kidnapping and murder case of a former Leyte vice mayor and his son. This after recovering their bodies in southern Leyte and arresting 3 suspects, including a former business partner. The full details in this Ryan Lisigas report.
Their hands were bound with cable ties, they were lifeless, and their bodies were already bloated. This was the condition of the 2 kidnapping victims when personnel of the Police Regional Office 8 recovered their bodies from a rugged ravine in Silago, Southern Leyte. PRO 8 identified the victim as a former vice mayor and his son, who were abducted in Mayorga, Leyte. According to PNP Anti-Kidnapping Group Director, Police Brigadier General Edwin Balles, the suspects admitted that the crime was premeditated.
Pinukpok po nila ng matigas na object, believed to be a dumbbell. Pinukpok hanggang nawalan ng malay at nung itatapon na nila ay pinagsasaksak pa nila.
The father and son were abducted from their warehouse in Mayorga, Leyte on June 27. During their backtracking operations, the PNP determined that the suspects had traveled towards Silago, Southern Leyte, prompting authorities to launch a follow-up operation in the area. CCTV footage, which is exclusively obtained by PTV News from a location in Leyte, captured a gray pickup truck believed to have been used as the suspect's getaway vehicle. From Southern Leyte, the suspects fled to Metro Manila in an attempt to hide from authorities.
During the dawn of Sunday, ay nandyan na po sila sa Allen, Samar, at around 4 o'clock in the morning, about to take the Roro going to Matnog, Sorsogon for their eventual escape.
On Tuesday, authorities recovered the vehicle in Sariaya, Quezon.
Maliban po doon sa kanilang revelation, ito'y umaangkop doon sa GPS system ng rental vehicle because they rented the getaway vehicle, a certain Mitsubishi Mirage model na nag-a-appear po doon sa system nila. Kaya yun po yung ating sinundan.
Investigators said an outstanding debt emerged as the motive behind the crime.
Accordingly, ang negosyo po nila ay about sa mantika, oil.
Milyon ba ang pinag-uusapan nating pera na utang?
Hindi ko po masabi, pero sa pagkakasabi po, pagkakakwento niya, yung cheque na about na ibabayad niya is amounting to 550,000.
Authorities eventually tracked down the 3 suspects in Pasay City, where investigators discovered that one of them was a business partner of the former vice mayor. The PNP has already declared the case solved. The suspects are now under the custody of the PNP anti-kidnapping group and are set to be transferred to Leyte to face charges of abduction and double murder. Ryan Lisiges for The Nation.
And we'll now give you the latest buzz here at Pop Culture Corner. First up, production is officially underway for Disney's live-action Tangled at Ciudad de la Luz Studios in Alicante, Spain, with Rapunzel's iconic tower now under construction. The film stars Tegan Croft as Rapunzel, Milo Manheim as Flynn Rider, Catherine Hahn as Mother Gothel, and Diego Luna in an undisclosed role. Directed by Michael Gracie from a screenplay by Jennifer Caton Robinson, the remake will retain the beloved musical elements of the animated classic while introducing new additions. Filming is expected to continue for about 8 months across several locations in Spain, with the movie currently scheduled for a theatrical release in 2027. The OPM rock band Issue Worms will stage its first ever concert in Hong Kong on July 26 at the Wanch in Wan Chai. The band will hold 2 performances with a matinee show at 4 p.m. and an evening concert at 8 p.m. Frontman Jugs Hujeta said the event is a chance to reconnect with the Filipino community overseas and thank fans for their continued support across generations. Hong Kong-based Filipino musicians Jesper Mercado and Rendel Frendo are also expected to join the band on stage during the performances. The South Korean action series A Shop for Killers will return for its 2nd season on Disney Plus on July 22. The new season will premiere with 2 episodes and continue with 2 new episodes every Wednesday until the finale on August 12. Lead stars Lee Dong-wook and Kim Hae-jun will reprise their roles as Jin-man and Jian, joined by new cast members Yoon-ri and Masaki Okada. Ahead of the premiere, Disney Plus Philippines has also made the first 3 episodes of the show's first season available on its YouTube channel. Filipino tennis star Alex Ayala rewrites history after notching her first ever main draw victory at the prestigious Wimbledon Championships last night. Ayala showed no mercy as she dominated Mexico's world number 75 Renata Zarazua 6-1, 6-2 in the first round of the Wimbledon Championships in London. The 20-year-old tennis star wrapped up the match in just 1 hour and 18 minutes to secure a spot in the round of 64 of the year's 3rd Grand Slam. With the victory, Ayala also made history as the first Filipina to win a women's singles main draw match at Wimbledon since the Open era began in 1968. It was also Ayala's 2nd career Grand Slam main draw win following her breakthrough victory at the U.S. Open last year. Ayala will next face the Australia's Maya Joint in the second round of the tournament. PBA legend Jimmy Alapag returns to the country after being appointed as a new head coach of the NLEX Road Warriors. Alapag will look to bring the knowledge and experience he gained as a member of the Sacramento Pilipinas team. Captain served as an assistant coach for the Kings NBA Summer League and G League teams from 2021 to 2023. In August 2023, the six-time PBA champion was promoted to the Sacramento Kings main NBA coaching staff, where he remained through the recently concluded season. NLEX finished as the #1 seed in the recent Commissioner's Cup, but its title bid came to an abrupt end after suffering a quarterfinal upset to #8 seed TNT Tropang 5G. Alapag is set to begin his PBA head coaching career in the upcoming Governor's Cup this July. As of 4 p.m. today, the center of Tropical Depression Henry was located at 315 kilometers west of Dagupan City, Pangasinan, with maximum sustained winds of 45 kilometers per hour near the center and gustiness of up to 55 kilometers per hour. It is moving north-northwestward at 30 kilometers per hour, while southwest monsoon affecting the western sections of southern Luzon, Visayas, and Mindanao. Zambales and Bataan may expect cloudy skies with scattered rains and thunderstorms. And western Visayas, Negros Island region, Zamboanga Peninsula, Cavite, Batangas, Occidental Mindoro, Oriental Mindoro, Romblon, Palawan, Basilan, and Tawi-Tawi may experience the same weather condition, while Metro Manila and the rest of the country may encounter partly cloudy to cloudy skies with isolated rain showers or thunderstorms. And our food for thought tonight comes from Yana Cachola. She is a Filipino fitness coach, entrepreneur, and author known for her straightforward message on discipline, accountability, and personal excellence. And she once said, "If you don't like hard work, get used to mediocrity." And before we end our newscast, please take the time to like, subscribe, or share PTV's social media pages flashing on your screen right now. It would go a long way and we would truly appreciate it. And so goes PTV News Tonight's roundup of tomorrow's headline stories. I'm Jay Esteban. Join us again tomorrow on PTV News Tonight.